The mission today is to sharpen your swords and get you ready for battle. It's time to fine-tune your craft and make you the best in what you do. The mission is to equip you to help anyone purchase what they need. We'll share the best advice from the best in their industry. You'll be listening to a conversation you wish you had with the mentors you wish you had. Take what makes sense to you and makes you better in your career. You guys, Bruce Lee said it best. Absorb what is useful and discard what is not.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Commission Mission. I'm Micah Henderson.
My name is Eric Gerace, and I'm really excited about our guest. We met a few years ago on a mastermind cruise, and this woman just has a heart of gold, and she just owns the room the second that she steps into it in the most positive connotation of that. She is a CEO of the Red Carpet PR agency, Red Carpet Connection. She has been on Time Magazine, 2020, Forbes, every major network. I think I even caught her on a episode of Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. It's just amazing the
Very cool
scope of what she's involved with, and I'm really excited that she's taken some moments and honored us with her presence at our show today, because I know her schedule is extremely hectic. But thank you so much for being here, Dr. Andrea Adams-Miller.
Hey.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you, Micah and Eric. I've heard so many good things about how your show is run. So what an honor to be here with you.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And I have been really wanting to speak with you, a professional when it comes to marketing and promotion. And when we're trying to help people get started in their business, or maybe they've hit a slump and they really need to get it going, how do people need to think? What are some best practices that people can do to get that attention that they need for their business to thrive?
Well, one of the things that I want you to do first thing is dispel the myth or the belief that you were taught as a child, that don't say anything about yourself, that you don't want to be a braggart, that you're not supposed to share. That is, yes, there are rules and lines and boxes around how much is appropriate and when you should share. However, I've come from the adage that I share all the time, and I do it out of love and excitement, and most of the time it's loved upon and accepted. So when you're sharing things with people on social media, within a conversation, think if you realize that you're sharing it because you are proud and you're excited about it and you want to bring them into the experience, it's way different than saying like, I was on Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. I wasn't on it like that. I was on Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. It was such a cool experience and absolutely hysterical. By the way, I have a teaser awesome story that goes along with that.
Let's hear it.
So when you're ready to hear that, sometimes it's fun to leave the audience hanging and then we bring it back in later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love your laugh, Andrea. I do. That's why I think one of the things that has helped her be so successful is that authenticity. Mm-hmm. We're in a room full of people that are really experienced networkers, right? On this cruise, she was like a magnet.
Sometimes you can't teach that.
Right. And the reason being, I think, is just that it's that smile. It's that authenticity. She just comes full of energy. A lot of times I think in business, and that is that reservedness, we always grew up with don't talk to strangers, and that's the absolute worst advice you can give.
That myth too. Talk to strangers.
Yes. The more you talk to them, the more open you are, the more connections you create. That's one of the things, I don't know if I mentioned on the intro, but the most impressive stat, I think, one of your most impressive stats to me is the fact that you're the top 1% most connected individuals on LinkedIn. And that,
yeah, I got that letter
Wow.
from them several years ago. I was like, really? And it was funny because I taught college at the time, and my peers or my superiors were adamant that I was doing harm to my students. They're like, yeah, this stuff is untried, untested. It's not, there's no research behind it, and you're teaching them this stuff. And I'm like, my students are still connected with me on LinkedIn. And it's become something that's really stayed with people throughout the years. So it was just ridiculous that, we're all trying to only do things that are textbook when the real world is happening. And here they are using all of these remarkable things.
Yes.
It just cracked me up.
The real world is, I'd rather be taught that than something out of a textbook any day of the week. Andrea, Eric mentioned, just being high energy. And in order to
High energy.
it's important, especially when it comes to getting attention so people know who you are and what you do. So what motivates you? How do you get motivated on a day? Is it motivational speakers, speeches, affirmations, a book? What do you use?
All right, I'm going to stay there, and I want to go backwards a second. I used to work in law enforcement. So when you were saying like, don't talk to strangers and so forth like that, by the way, if you want to be more safe in the world, you actually look and make eye contact with strangers and talk to them. It doesn't mean like hang out, visit with them, go to their car, get in, not like that. But when you look at people, when you walk by, if you look at them and you're like, hey, and you stand confident, they're like, next.
Right.
They're less likely to see you as a victim because you don't stand like you're looking at me, So when you stand with confidence, whether you have it or not, it's all about just standing in relaxed state and making eye contact that this is my space and I own it. That really helps you in business and in safety. So I get motivated. There's this really interesting world. So think of energy as this ball that's rotating and moving all the time, kind of like the earth and the sun and the moon, how they all move. For me, there's a couple things that happen that allow me to keep this crazy amount of energy, because people are often amazed at like how much energy I have. And I get energy by giving energy and receiving energy from people. So I'm not an energy vampire. I'm more like a heat conducer. Like I conduct energy and then make more energy happen. And then when I do acts of service, because I'm excited about creating something and giving to someone, I'm excited. I have more energy when my brain's allowed to solve problems, create ideas and innovation. And when I'm almost working towards completing something, even if it's just for me, although I get more pleasure out of doing things for others. And there's so many others. So that's how my energy stays up.
And I love that, because a lot of times we look outside for something that we're lacking, right? And we look for an outside source of it. And Andrea creates it within herself, shares it with others, and then that sharing lights other people up and brings it back in. And that's how everything works. We always look outside, but it starts from within. And if we could step inside ourselves, find that little bit and share it, then it magnifies. And that's a fantastic reminder. And that's, I've seen it in action. I mean, this cruise that we were on, there was like 12-hour days of seminars, of networking, and then there would be a dinner afterwards, and then a late night karaoke, and she was like high energy the whole way. So she lives exactly what she's preaching. I've seen it, and it's infectious. And the more that you can do that, I think, in your business, in your life, in your relationships, the more that it won't be like something. It's difficult to do in the beginning, right? If you're a reserved, quiet, closed person, it might be really awkward to step into this extroverted type of personality. However, the more you do it, the easier it gets, and then it becomes a habit,
Well, do what you got to do to find that genuine enthusiasm. That if you can have that magnetism because of your energy, because you can be infectious with that energy to those around you, you may not be able to teach an infectious laugh that really gets people's attention, but you can do different things to get you energized. I'm really impressed about getting that when you're finishing a project, because that's normally when I really need a second wind to finish the project and see something through. That I'm sure helps you be productive. And when it comes to being productive, is there something that you always do in your daily routine, something that may be different than the average to keep being so productive and getting so much done?
Yes and no. So on one hand, I have found throughout my life, in fact, it just happened to me the other day. I'm in a mastermind on the weekends called Friends of Peter. There's a guy named Peter Stropel, who's one of the most well-connected men in the United States. And I think I'm second. No. But Peter's amazing. He's amazingly connected, and I'm in their mastermind, and it's called a mastermind, but it's really more a sharing of wisdom. We have a topic every week where we share a word, and then we have 3 minutes to talk about what that brought up for us or what we want to share regarding it. And we had one called Ready? Ready. So it was like question mark ready, exclamation ready. And I shared with that, that my whole life, I've always been ready. And I worked in emergency management and law enforcement, corrections. I do events. I travel all the time. You got to go, you got to move, you got to pay attention. I'm constantly scanning in the world for, what needs to happen or what could happen, what could be created. So a total constant, imagine if I could juggle. Now I do juggle in my brain. I just haven't coordinated it with my hands yet. And so I have multiple things going on. And even as a young child, I remember Saturday Night Live, they had the I'm Jamaican man, Jamaican man with the hats. And even like at 12, 13 years old, or maybe even 11, I don't remember how old I was when that skit came out. My parents were like, you're Jamaican. You have so many things going on at the same time. Like I had multiple babysitting jobs at 11 and was in all this extracurricular activity and was like determined to be a straight A student. I just constant buzz in my head. And with all of that activity, I find that it is easy to push things or delay them till they have to be done, because then that creates that urgency or excitement, which makes you want that you have to do it. So as much as I look and I do get a lot done, there is a procrastination factor that I've actually just this week decided I'm releasing.
Awesome.
I found all through high school and college, I do my best work at the last second. The night before that project's due, man, I am on top of it.
There's a matrix that I learned and used to help with that. Time management is you have imagine four quadrants, and you have urgent and important, not urgent and important, not urgent and not important, mm-hmm. and urgent and not important, right? So, and you can use those quadrants
kind of categorize
your day and help you schedule time management. And when you do have a lot of things go, because that's when you're an entrepreneur, and starting a new business, there's tons of things that happen. And a lot of times we spin our wheels on the things that are urgent but not important. And so by helping yourself define those actions and those activities that are coming your way and that you need to take care of and put them in those quadrants, it really helps you prioritize, and it helps with time management. It helps you focus on what is urgent and important.
The way I was taught, similar to that is green activities, yellow activities, red activities. Green activities is basically money-making activities. Yellow activities helps you do the green activities, and red activities don't make you money. And, if... The way I kind of do that is what time of the day. A lot of times people don't want to talk about financial planning and insurance at 2 a.m, right? So my green time is when people are awake during the day, sometime in that 9 to 5.
I like that.
And then a lot of my administrative tasks, a lot of my emails, putting together quotes or strategies, preparing for the next day, that'll be after the kids go to bed. I'll pop open the laptop, put on a documentary, crack a beer, and get to work there too. And that's just how I'll.
And using those descriptions would make it easy to color code your Google Calendar.
Yep. Oh,
so that way you can see what activities you're doing, and at a very quick glance, get an idea of how you're spending your time.
All my red activities really just family time, and that'll be sometimes in the middle of the day. But I'm never missing a baseball game. I'm never missing a baseball game, a birthday party, or anything like that.
And even at a quick glance, you can look at your calendar if you color code that and see that work-life balance. Mm-hmm. Are you achieving the balance that you
it's tough
like
sometimes.
I like the idea of the color coding. I have an Excel sheet that we're using right now because I haven't found a time management follow-up system that I like yet. And so I have, my VA laughs at me because if things need followed up, I put F you. And it doesn't sound loving, but I said, well, let's spin it and be like, because that word the F word can be used positively, F you, let's get that done, let's get that done. But if I color coded them, that would be helpful. Yeah, that would be very helpful. So one of the things in hearing you guys talk, I just realized that's a good solve for me, because I do also, probably for other people, because I do like that rush. There's something about setting a time and doing it. What if when we got something, received something, put it into quadrants and broke it up into let me see how much I can get done on this and brainstorm it and map it out. Because when I do that with press releases, those end up more phenomenal. So I'll write them and scurry them out and brain dump all these ideas. And then I don't touch it for like a day or two or a couple hours, sometimes a week. And then I'll be like, oh, and I pick it up and now I'm in a different mindset and I can clean it and I work on it and then I can put it away again and then do it. I do that when I edit books or ghostwrite as well. That's a good way, because then it gives you that excitement of rush, but it's not deadline rush. You create your own deadlines, because when you think about it, we have the ability for, neuro-linguistic programming and hypnotic language. We can convince our minds to anything. What if we convince our minds that it's an urgent right now, you got a half an hour, get it done? You probably will.
Yeah. And time management was a huge, huge relief to my life. And I had a number of businesses. I think it was like probably 4, maybe even 5 at the time. And I was working 12 to 18 hour days, just constant. But it was sporadic. And because at that time I was calendar adverse, right? I was not going to be controlled by a calendar. I'm studying whatever I want to do, but I had to memorize everything and it was horrible. I had a coaching call yesterday. And my coach started talking about, she goes, Eric, man, every time we talk, you talk about something else that you're involved in. And she listed everything. And I was like, whoa. I said, and I stood back because I've gotten so good at time management that it feels like I'm not doing anything.
Whenever I show up, we're friends in real life. Whenever I show up to the house, you're there ready to chit chat. Our kids are playing, and it really does seem like
it's amazing
you're available.
When you take ownership of your calendar and your schedule, and you set specific times to handle certain activities. Yeah. It frees up so much time for what you want to focus and what's important to you. And you said something I want to just highlight, because we said it really quickly. You said VA, and a lot of people, especially new entrepreneurs, do not look into that yet. They think that's something that they have to grow to. But what does a VA do for you? How important is your VA? I mean, I'm sure you have a few things to share on this that our listeners would love to hear.
Well, I did learn a long time ago.
Assistant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that. Virtual assistant is what that means. And the important thing is to delegate the things that you can be really good at them. For example, I, as a teenager, realized when I babysat, if I cleaned their house, they tipped me even higher wages. So then I started cleaning houses, and I even had a cleaning business on the side when I worked at the police department. And so, that's always been something that I could do. And the thing is, though, do I need to do it? Do I want to do it? No, not really. So actually, we had a cleaning lady for years, and then we didn't have one for years. And then recently, we just hired another one because we realized that there are 4 adults living here, and we're all busy, and we would rather be busy doing other things. And when we had somebody else or delegated that task, there's so much higher order, higher level things that we can accomplish in our world by having someone who actually really enjoys doing that.
Yeah.
And if you want to grow your business, if you want to scale your business, you've got to learn how to do that.
Delegate.
You cannot replicate yourself.
Delegate.
Yes, you can't replicate yourself and grow your business. If you are the thing that your business relies on, you're limited in how far you can go.
Therein lies, what is your strong suit? What do you really enjoy? And a second ago you were talking about energy, and you're also talking about kind of being able to trick yourself. You were talking about hypnosis and different things. A lot of what I did, especially early on, I had to do myself, or maybe I didn't have to, but I didn't realize it yet. But I would trick myself into being excited about it, and I love meeting people. I really enjoy helping people, and let's say making phone calls. Normally, people hate it, and really, I prefer not to do it, and I don't have to do it these days. But when I did, I would trick myself into being excited about it. I get to make new friends. I don't know what is going to happen, as a result of this phone call. Worst case scenario, they say no or hang up on me, and just on to the next one. But kind of tricking yourself to be excited about the things that you have to do really got me going in the first couple years of business.
Highland Finance, helping you prepare for life. IRS takes your money, stock market risks your money, and inflation reduces the buying power. At Highland Finance, we believe you should feel confident in your future. Our proven track record helps our clients prepare for life. Call 850-359-5989.
When you mentioned VA, I mentioned just like delegating for a cleaning lady. For a VA, for a virtual assistant in my business, I have them do research. I have them set up mailings. I have them download transcripts from Zoom, clean them up and clip off the ends. I have them do clean up video, pull clips, do social media, create memes. These are things or ideas that I have. There are actually, it's funny because I enjoy doing some of all of those things, but if I have to do all of those things, then it takes away from me being able to do things like this. And then I feel overwhelmed and there's too much. And so bringing other people in who enjoy doing that has been wonderful, especially when those people care about you, are invested in you and the growth of your business. So I have all my VAs and everybody be freelance. I teach them how to be their own business. So that way, at any point when we no longer are together, or sometimes they grow and move on. And in some ways, I kind of think I shoot myself in the foot because and then they go. But that's good. That's a good thing, and allows change and adaptation and forced growth from me as well. There's something beautiful about that. Now, as far as languaging, I am very aware of what I say more and more. The more I practice it, the more I'm aware of what I'm saying. So, example, last night, my husband said something and I was frustrated because I kept doing family things and taking way more time off than I'm used to. Like I took 2 weekends off in a row, a 3-day weekend off in a row, and then took a middle of the week to go to a water park and did no work. That is not me. I'm the kind of person who used to work the whole time on a vacation. So they were really pushing me beyond my bounds for, taking 7 days and 2 weeks for us to play. So I was kind of getting a little, I thought my language with my husband was not as polite as it could have been. And then I realized, because I said, I have to work. And then I said, no, I want to enjoy the pleasures of my work. I relished in the enjoyment of it. So please allow me the space to do what I enjoy.
Yeah. In words.
And then all of a sudden, yeah.
Words are very powerful, and I also love how you let things kind of just flow naturally with the people in your life, with your virtual assistants, and you give value to them just, like they're giving it to you. But how did you find your virtual assistants in the first place, and how did you find the ones that really fit well for you?
So that's a work in progress. So what I have found, I've used both people in the United States and both people overseas. There's disadvantages and advantages of both. I also have recently come to realize there are other things that I want to do, that I want to pick a VA that's the best in it. And I don't care how much they get paid per hour, because they're going to be fast and efficient. And it would be more economical for me to tell them, because they're used to this. They know how to take direction, and they know what the end project should be. So that is a better decision to make. And I literally right now just signed up for a course with one of my friends. She's teaching now how to be better at finding someone to outsource stuff to, as far as how we manage ourselves with outsourcing and how we pick who we want. So how I've picked people in the past is I give them a task with a lot of details, the way I would normally talk, the way I normally do, and then I hand it over to them and see how they manage understanding me. And then I'm very, very, very high priority in loyalty. I want these people to be diehards for me. So I have been fortunate that way, that they're like, what do you need, Andrea? Oh, that's after I go to bed, but I'll set my alarm and get up, anything for you. And that loyalty and that willing to know that I work 24/7, and that doesn't mean I work 24/7 all the time, but I work really well at night when everybody else has gone away. So if you want to talk about financials at 2 a.m, you call me.
Yeah. See, I'm the same way. I have a wife and 2 kids, and when they go to bed, that's usually where I do most of my work, especially the work that requires intense focus. I found that I'm really productive at night. There's less interruptions or distractions at night. And I'm not getting interrupted with phone calls from clients or what have you. And so, and a lot of times, and like you said, I don't work 24/7. So during that day, if I know I'm going to be spending time at night, I might take a nap during the day.
But when you do, you have a laser focus. I've said, man, when he's got the eye of the tiger, it doesn't matter if there is distractions in the room. There's not any distractions in the room. I'll be talking to him, and I'll realize I've been talking for 5 minutes. I'll look over, and he's just in his laptop getting something out. And it sounds like you're very in touch with your creative side, much more than I do. And it seems like that would make sense, that when it's flowing, you just let it flow. You don't try to say, well, society sleeps from this time to this time. No, you're going to keep going and do what you set out to do while it's on the tip of your brain. Andrea, you've given us a lot of great advice throughout this conversation. Let me ask you, what is the worst piece of advice that anyone's ever given you?
The worst piece of advice anybody's ever given me is to tell me that I can only do one thing. I've had multiple coaches in my world. Now, I get if they're trying to say, maybe finish one thing and carry it out. But so for example, let me give an example of when I finally have reached the epitome of a success. Epitome, is that the right word? I don't know. Epiphany, I don't know. It helped me. Sometimes I use the wrong words, or I make up words that aren't words. So just go with me.
We know what you're saying. That's what matters.
Yeah. And if you don't know what I'm saying, keep it to yourself. So anyhow, don't complain to me. All right. Don't send me an email like, Andrea. Now, I don't mind correction though, because I would love to know what the right word is. But if you do it in a loving kind way.
I think you were right the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So when, see now I have ADD, by the way. So let me go back to where I was.
Don't let anybody tell you can only do one thing.
Oh, all right. So Yes, completing a task from here to there is probably really a great idea. However, if you're a person who needs a break from what you're doing to do something else, I say so I have multiple businesses and multiple projects. So I work on one thing towards the goal of that doing well. But when I need a break from it, then I shift my focus and work on another arm of what I do or under the umbrella of what I do to give myself a mental break. And then also, they also told me, I've had several mentors tell me, no, you can't do that. So I owned an intimacy and relationship business. I still do. I just don't talk about it a lot. And I worked in law enforcement. I have a publishing company. I do press releases and press and help people get on stages. I speak. I run events. I do theater. I NLP coach and business consult and do all these other things and help people expand in their businesses. So when you tell people all of that, it's sometimes too much, as they said, a confused mind doesn't buy because, so they only need, that's why I just say I'm a publicist. And then the other things come out as they need them or want them. But what I have learned is when I try to follow the advice, like I can't mix relationship coaching in with anything from law enforcement, nothing from acting or comedy.
Two different words.
No, that's not true. It's all one world. For me, my core base is connection. It's connection and relationships. And so it's a relationship with the media. It's a relationship from B to B. It's a relationship with your clients. It's a relationship with the people in your life, a relationship with your fans and followers. To me, it's the same thing. It's a relationship with your audience that's watching you. So for me, there is no deviation between related. Yeah, everything I do, if you were to take all the things that I do and look at them, I'm actually doing the same dang thing with just a different spin on it.
Yeah, and like a lot of people have like an adversity to sales. I don't like sales. I don't like selling. But what we don't realize is anytime you're convincing somebody of how you're feeling, of what you like or don't like, you're selling them on that concept. So we're selling in every conversation, basically.
It's all related.
And so it does permeate. And like for me, I have real estate that is like my main focus, but I also do web design and I do a personal coaching, and I have recently obtaining my captain's license, And so for me, real estate is great. It's probably the biggest moneymaker of the ones that I'm involved in. However, it can be repetitive, and so I like new experiences. I like change, And so for me to be able to get on the water for a little bit on a boat and go out to see some beautiful white sand beaches and swim with dolphins and things like that it's even though I'm making money in that, it's like a break, a vacation for me. And so there's ways that we can look at the things that you like. And it's like life hacks, bring those into your circle the way that Andrea does it on a 10X's it. But,
so that it's all related.
Yes, but it gives you balance. It gives you the difference in experiences. It allows you to kind of take a break or take a breath, come up for air sometimes,
And come back refreshed on
exactly.
So whenever I'm listening to I feel like everybody does this, to anybody, they kind of apply it to their life. And, when it comes to what I do with financial planning and insurance, it's all related. Whether I'm talking to somebody about how to protect themselves through insurance or how to grow their money, or making sure they have the best plan, the most efficient, so they're not overspending, so they have more money to go towards a goal, a retirement, a paying off a debt, or making sure they have the right coverage in the right areas so that if a what if happens in their lives, they're not paying dollar for dollar to get out of that painful scenario. Instead they pay pennies on the dollar if they have the right kind of coverage. And it's all related to the overall strategy of somebody's life. So, it's all related. That's something to think about. There's always something in every episode that leaves me thinking, at the end of the episode. Well, Andrea, as we're wrapping up today, what's going on in your world? What are you doing these days that people need to hear about?
Well, thank you so much. I'm doing something that I'm asking everyone else to do, especially if you're a giver. If you're a giver, it's time to start giving to yourself. So I have spent my whole career working and helping and supporting others. And in fact, my clients named me the dream maker because I help make their dreams come true. And in doing that, I put myself on the back burner, as many of you listening do. And so I'm asking you to step forward and make yourself one of the most important people in your life, because when you do, then you're able to give more to other people. And if you're a taker, I'd like you to step back and to be a giver for a while and see what you can do to help build other people in your life. Because when you're in any kind of partnership, if both people can be raised to the highest level in tandem, then you have the biggest, most effective impact in the world than if there's a shift in dynamic where one is higher than the other. So yeah, there's always going to be ebb and flow, but raise and lift and put yourself first and put yourself in that position. So you'll be seeing more of me. I'm creating some really great, I'm having an event that'll probably be over by the time that we air here, but it's called the Leaders Amped for Change Experience. So although I say conference, it's not going to be a traditional conference. It's where we allow people to be one-on-one. It's like where you get to have a handshake with people that are most amazing. Bootsy Collins' son, Uwe Collins is going to come and share with us. He does all the production for Bootsy and all of the things that they do. And in fact, Bruno Mars, Bruno got a Grammy, and he's like, "Thanks, Uncle Bootsy." It's not really his uncle, but they do some cool stuff. And Bootsy has his hands in Silk Sonic, and Uwe is behind all of that. And then Tim Colby, who plays in Bootsy's band, is also going to be there, and he's going to be revealing for the first time a song that he wrote in honor of 9/11. And so super exciting. But AMP stands for authenticity, music, philanthropy, education, and entrepreneurship, and D for duty. So that's your police and fire and military. So we're making sure that all of those areas are brought together so that we're amped for change. So I'm excited about the things that we already have 2 other events that are going to be taking place this year, and we don't even have this one in the bag yet.
Please record them all. I hope you record the every event from multiple angles the whole time. I'd love to see it.
But you want to go to this event. You want to experience Andrea. I'm telling you, the only thing I don't like about this Zoom is I can't give you a big hug at the end of the show. So, virtual hug.
Yeah, I'm a touch person, so like you can see, I get my hands in the screen all the time.
Andrea, thanks so much for spending some time with us and having a great conversation with us today. And I know as much as you've helped so many people, throughout the years, you're helping our listeners right now by everything we talked about. So thanks for your time, and I hope to have you on again.
Thank you so much.
I would love that. And I'd love to give a gift. If people are interested in knowing more about publicity, I have a checklist. I have a 7-day challenge. It's all free to you so that you can figure out what you want in your life. You can just go to my website. It's www.theredcarpetconnection.com, theredcarpetconnection.com. Reach out to me and email me or text message me. I'm doing it differently than the old standard way where people fill out a form. To me, that's so disconnected. Those things are on there, but I'd rather just talk to you.
Wow.
Let's really find out what you really have going on. Reach out and touch me.
Yeah, but going back to, the relationship of everything, that just ties right into everything. So yeah, definitely being, authentic and true to practicing what you preach. Andrea.
And you can see that, why she's so successful, because people buy from who they know, like, and trust. And in a very short period of time,
I know, like, and trust you. Yes, I get it. Yeah.
We know you. We really like you, and we know we can trust you.
Oh, and we'll make sure to put your website, with your permission, on our website, and make sure people have easy access to it. Dr. Andrea Adams-Miller, thank you so much for your time today. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Keep smiling.
Yes, definitely. This was an awesome episode, Andrea. I mean, it's just golden nugget after gold nugget after gold nugget. You know, they say success leaves clues, you know, and follow the breadcrumb trail. These are like golden breadcrumbs that we discussed today. And you did mention a little cliffhanger in the beginning of the episode that we would love to expand on. And there was also some things that about smiling, I think, that our listeners would be really
pretty important.
Advantageous if they were able to get
Sure.
their ears on it.
So I'm going to give you a further cliffhanger and then not tell you about the Gene Simmons story till I tell you about the Keep Smiling movement. So yeah, I'm executive director of the Keep Smiling movement. Two gentlemen that I met in my life 7 years ago. One, his name is Dr. Smiley, Dr. Ken Rashawn. I met him on the Internet Marketers Cruise as well. And then shortly thereafter, he met a gentleman named Barry Shore. And Barry had these cards that say Keep Smiling. So when I do this, I'm holding up the Keep Smiling card. And Ken is a photographer and thought, oh my gosh, I need something in my life. I've been looking for a movement. Can I make this a movement? And Barry's like, oh yeah, let's do it, you know. And then within a few months, I kept running into Ken and he's like, hey, Andrea, can you help me with this? This is what my plan are. This is my dream. I jumped right in. I always wanted to do something with dental work or smiles because I had an aunt who would hide her mouth. So I said yes, jumped into it. Here we are 7 years later. Along the way, I kept saying, guys, this should be a nonprofit. This should be a nonprofit. Couldn't get anybody to step up. So I made it a nonprofit. So I founded the nonprofit part and they founded the idea. And as a trio, we created the keepsmilingmovement.org. And so what we do is we save lives with smiles by creating a dose of hope to be resilient no matter the challenge. So we're more than just dental and a smile now. We're actually mental health and brain health, because when you smile, it lets down neurotransmitters, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins that allow you to feel better. So it's kind of like a Band-Aid. And the more you put that Band-Aid on, eventually you can heal. You might need some other outside influences besides your smile, but it definitely will put you on the right path. So that's what we do for the Keep Smiling movement.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you the story now.
Yes.
So I was on Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. Now, normally people are on shows like that because of some kind of weird shock jock thing. That is not why I was on the show. I was at my husband and I own a pinball and video game business. And, in fact, if I was in the other room, usually my jukebox is behind me, or like where I'm sitting right now, I have pinball machines behind me. So we were at a Touch Tunes private party and Touch Tunes is a type of musical device where you can digitally download music. And that's when that was new. So anyhow, Gene was the headliner guest for the party. And he comes in with two blonde women and they're all like, you know, sexy on each other and all kissing. And I'm like, oh, please don't kiss me. Whatever you do, don't kiss me. Don't kiss me. Don't kiss me. I'm like, because I'm getting grossed out by that. So anyhow, he makes his way and I'm with my two daughters. They were like 6 and 7 at the time. And he comes right up to me. So talk about magnetic. I mean, like, you know, like attracts like. He walks right up to me and he looks at me like this. He's like, and he makes that noise. And I'm, you know, okay. And he looks at my face. Then he looks at my boobs a long time. Then he looks down, scans me, nether regions, kind of weird. And then looks back at my boobs, looks at my face and goes, looks at my girls and says, obviously, these are the fruit of your loins.
Classy. Man.
Thank you. That's what I said with a big smile, because what do you say to that when you know you're being recorded? So I go, thank you. Yeah. And that's the part of me that got on the show.
Oh, man. They dropped the ball on that one. Out of all they could have gotten out of a conversation with you, that's what they're going to zero in on.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, you could, the clip is still up, online and stuff, and it's super funny. But Gene Simmons, I've met him 2 other times, and he actually, I would love the opportunity to sit and break bread with him. He is a genius when it comes to marketing. Do you know that he owns a trademark to everything Kiss?
Yes.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's phenomenal what he's done with the merchandising and the brand KISS. And I mean, even years and years and years after the band has dissolved, he's still and he's got an army, the KISS Nation, the KISS Army. I mean, it's just amazing what he's built. Oh,
brilliant.
yes.
Brilliant. And I've heard that all of the Kissy women models and all of that is all just part of the branding, that he's super gregarious.
Yeah, he's a rock star.
Gimmick, you know what I mean?
That's the rock star image that.
Yeah. Well, and now we have firsthand, proof of it. Well, Andrea, thank you for sharing that. We almost wrapped up, and I was like, wait a minute, and that's the point of a cliffhanger. So thanks for sharing that, and I really mean it. Look forward to having you on again.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm really looking forward
to
what we can build together. Bye.
Yes, bye.
Highland Finance, helping you prepare for life. The profit your business brings in should go to you, not accidents, injuries, and hurricanes. Do a policy review on your general liability and workers' comp today. Our proven track record helps our clients prepare for life. Call 850-359-5989. Highland Finance.